Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
And coming up on today's show, it's a new year, so...
It is one of those.
It's time for a new you.
We're
That's
gonna
sort of the popular understanding of...
we're gonna look forward into the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
The future.
Resolutions and such.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, we'll talk about fun things that you and I, Frank, are gonna commit to doing.
Maybe.
We'll see.
I read a whole article
It
about
says-
how bad resolutions are.
Oh, good. Well, then it's a great thing.
That
Then
they're actually... It's bad for the soul to
I-
make a resolution.
Oh, well, then it's a good thing that that's the topic of our conversation at the end of the show.
Yeah, no, it was Billy Graham's grandson or something like that.
Oh.
If I remember right. He wrote this article about how bad the resolutions, they're bad for the soul.
Oh,
because
dear.
you're not accepting the goodness of who you are.
Oh, so I'm the fact that I am claiming not to be perfect yet is
And that you see room for improvement.
That's
and
hurting
you're
me.
setting goals
that's hurting me.
for your life.
I see that now.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I see that
It's
now.
really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to
Okay.
stay just as you are, Dan. Everybody loves you just how you are.
They really do. I'm a very beloved person.
Well, kinda.
Tell us a story, Frank.
Well, I just have to start with this one. It's Christmas related,
Yeah.
and it's Guinness Book of World Record related.
Ooh.
And I somehow didn't hear about this when it happened last month. So it just seems necessary to bring up now. Down in Provo.
Utah?
Provo, Utah.
Our
so
own
just
Provo here?
about 40 minutes to the south of where we are.
Yeah.
They set a world record for the largest nativity scene.
Whoa!
Yes, indeed. They gathered together hundreds of people dressed in white.
Uh-huh.
It was one of those. You remember how wonderful early December was in Utah
Oh.
this year? Just sunny.
It was
and
like
warm.
yeah,
it was like 50 degrees.
Might as well have been in Florida.
Yeah, I mean the pictures of this. It's like that can't be early December. The grass is green.
Yeah.
But whatever. But they had 1,039 participants.
So this is a
In the
live
world record.
We're talking about a live
A
nativity.
live nativity scene.
Oh, okay. I was going to be surprised by this large because here's what I was picturing when you said it. I was picturing 42-foot tall Joseph
Oh,
and like, you know,
the tallest nativity scene in the Western Hemisphere.
yeah, you
that
said
kind
the
of stuff.
biggest nativity scene. I'm picturing like this enormous thing, and Mormons aren't really the types that would do that.
Well, how do you know that these were Mormons?
That's a joke, ladies and gentlemen, because if you live anywhere near Utah, you know that if it's in Provo, it's Mormons. Oh my God. Well, so yeah, that was going to surprise me, but if we're just talking about like most numbers of participants, oh, you can get Mormons to participate.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you'll get them there.
Yeah.
Oh, I just pulled up pictures because I wanted to see what we were talking about.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it?
They're all so it's like, yes, there's a Joseph and a Mary and a blah blah blah, and I'm like, how do you even populate it with the most? And it's like,
They're all
oh,
angels.
they're the angels. They've all modified their ghost costumes from Halloween into angel costumes.
They're all dressed in white. Mormons don't believe in like
They're in white sheets,
the angels with wings and halos.
right? So
They
they're
just believe angels are just dressed in white.
So yeah, they're all in
That's
a
a Mormon angel.
white sheet, and then there's a looks like live camel and some.
Someone should have
donkeys
shown
and-
up in their temple clothes.
I'll bet you under those sheets, some of the people wore their temple because they
They
couldn't.
never would.
They're,
That would
like their
just be-
temple suit or whatever.
Oh, their suit. Yeah, that's. I mean, like the apron, and
No.
the shawl, and the hat.
No, they didn't do that, but that would be hilarious. This is how I imagine an angel.
Yeah. So they got all these people together and they staged the whole thing.
Of
Just
course
beautiful.
they did.
Just beautiful. It just really was touching.
It just warms the heart, doesn't it?
They beat the The previous record holder, or the previous record was set in the UK, actually, in December of 2013. When they had 898 participants.
And how many did the Mormons have?
1,039.
Oh, take that, Church of England fuckers. see what you can do with that. I think they should. There's now needs to be a transatlantic rivalry.
Well, I think we need to find out when they're doing theirs.
We're in the Provo people.
When Provo's doing theirs,
and we should show up.
And no.
I think we should.
We arranged to beat it the next day.
The next day
with a group of atheists.
We call Guinness and we're like, okay, be there for them, and then show up here. You're gonna be in town anyway.
Yeah,
just show up.
We're
gonna
beat them immediately after.
Frank, there is no way we would get that many people. There's literally, it would be like we couldn't even gather that many people at the same time online.
If we no. If we did this and really spread the word,
no way, it's not even possible.
No. Listen to me. Okay, you and in this state, if you build it as beat the Mormons at their thing, like if you turn it into like the equivalent of like a U of U BYU rivalry.
Okay,
right?
Maybe. Although if I'm just going off of my own self, knowing me. If I saw somebody doing that, I'd be like, yeah, beat those fuckers. And then somebody would be like, are you going? Oh, no.
No. We just turn it into a thing that people have to ride their bikes to. And come on, people in Salt Lake will show up for that.
We need to combine it with the zombie walk. And because that one gets a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
And the underwear run.
The undie run.
If we can combine it with those on the same two things and just be like, hey.
Can you stand here for a minute?
Here's what we're going to do. You show up dressed as a zombie nativity person. Then you take it all off and you've got your undies on underneath, and then you do the run.
I love it.
We'll figure it out. We'll get it. I'm going to stay in Utah, actually.
Okay.
I've got a report about a woman. This is a very sad story, as a matter of fact. But it just, I saw it come up on a Facebook feed. And it was an interesting discussion. So I'll start with the story, and then we'll go into like what I saw on that discussion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A woman, a 34-year-old woman in Utah, was pregnant with her fifth. No, I think she had already had 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pregnant with her 6th.
Okay. That the math for 5 that wasn't enough kids.
No.
6 is a little bit closer to where she needs to be. Oh my God,
these Mormons and their kids. Although I was having a discussion just last night, actually, with some friends, and we were discussing how I think that the demographics are skewing towards smaller, large families. Oh. So rather than 7 or 8 being a large family, now 5 is kind of seeming like a large family.
Like a large Mormon family?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, everybody has to have dual income. It's a lot harder to have 9 kids. These days.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Anyway, this woman was pregnant with her 6th and then suddenly diagnosed with the most lethal form of skin cancer.
Oh my!
And told that she had very little time. She was also told that her baby was in danger.
Oh, okay.
But there's no guarantees. But it would definitely.
The baby was in danger. Spell this out.
Well, I don't know all the ins and outs of it.
Why would a skin cancer... I've never thought about this.
Right. Well, here's the thing.
Skin cancer would affect the pregnancy?
Well, her body was compromised. Her body was
gotcha.
Really compromised. So,
okay, that makes sense.
So the deal becomes, generally speaking, plus also... There's the problem of how do we treat your cancer? We can't give you the chemotherapy while you're pregnant.
Right. Clearly not.
It seems to me to be an easy decision to make. However, she took the opposite tack that I would have taken. She decided not to treat her cancer in order
basically treat the baby.
In order to try and save the baby.
Right.
And have the kid, knowing full well that she was probably going to die from not treating this cancer.
God. Okay.
So she did. Well, I mean, here's what happened. They lost the baby. The baby was 14 weeks premature, born, and then died 2 weeks later after an infection.
Oh, boy.
And then she died. So,
yeah, that's kind of...
I mean, what we're dealing with is a horrible decision, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it seems perfectly obvious that you abort that kid and you dive into trying to save the mother of 5 other kids. There are these 5 other kids who are going to be deprived of their mother because why? Because we need to save this child that doesn't have much of a chance anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But on this forum that I was reading this on,
okay,
one woman who said she was pregnant at that moment, and this is an atheist, by the way, said she would totally have made the same choice.
Wow.
So I'm baffled. She said, her children are the most important thing in the world to her.
Yeah.
But to me, this is not making children the most important thing in the world.
It's
to
making
me,
the one fetus the most important.
Yeah,
thing
it's
in the
making
world.
a fetus that's
already
in
is at
danger
risk.
anyway.
Yeah.
That may not make it anyway. The most important thing in the world, and these other 5 kids, they're less important somehow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, none of these decisions are easy. I mean,
No.
What is easy is to stand on the outside and, question their judgment. And I agree with you, Dan. I really do. Like in that scenario, I think it's a no-brainer.
It's just so rough. I just don't get it. I want to understand this. I mean, the thing is, my initial response was to just dismiss this as this is pure religious malarkey that has poisoned her brain.
But then you had the atheist woman chime in.
It blew my mind.
Well, but atheists don't have to be,
we're not a monolith,
right?
Like, yeah,
and nor is there anything that has to necessarily logically follow that you would automatically be pro-life.
No,
or I'm sorry, pro-choice.
No, but that's not even where I'm at with this. Excuse me. Where I'm at with this is just like to me, the decision to bring this other person into the world or to try to and then deprive these almost certainly deprive these 5 other kids of their mother and now the 6th kid of their mother.
If the 6th kid survives.
If the sixth kid survives.
Yeah.
To me, that only comes from religion. Like, in my mind, the only way it can make any sense to me is to say, A, God might cure me because I'm making a virtuous and valiant decision. B, if God doesn't cure me and God takes me, then God will provide for my husband and my family when I'm gone. And C, it's better to just, even if my child dies right away, it's better to bring him or her into this world because then they'll go to heaven immediately. Then I've because Mormons believe that, there are these spirits that are just dangling in heaven waiting to be pooped out of a vagina. So it's like,
really?
Yeah, that's what it is.
God.
So there is this aesthetic of like, marrying a soul to a body just so that it can go on with the next phase, which is after this life.
Right. Well, that's sort of the little story that Mormons like to tell themselves when they have like, what do you call it?
Like an accidental pregnancy or something?
No.
Oh.
Like when like a stillborn baby.
Oh,
or something like that,
right.
Where it's just like, oh, he just needed a body.
God, yeah. We
We
just provided him with a body, and
such a special soul
that God just needed him to have his body so that he could come back.
Because
and
the body thing is so important to the Mormons.
Right.
But anyways, it's all weird.
None of them have ever stopped to think about why that would actually make any sense, because it doesn't. But that's okay.
Well, you have to have a body for if you're going to attain the highest level of exaltation.
Right. Why? Who knows? Why weren't we just created with bodies from the beginning? Who knows? None of it makes any sense, but there you go.
It's God's plan, Dad.
It is God's plan. That's true. You make a totally valid point on that front. Oh my God. Anyway, so I'm glad. I guess what I'm getting at is that I'm really glad that this lady was posting on this atheist forum, because now baffled, and it's
a far more complicated issue apparently
than I was willing to go to in my brain. There you go. Now I get to sit here in my bafflement.
Yeah.
I will rest with that.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting thing. Some speculation. People are speculating about Pope Francis and his position on the environment, which people seem to they've figured out his position, which is he's definitely not a climate change denier.
Right.
And he's pro-environment, just as he is sort of pro the working classes and whatnot. And he is, this is the speculation, that he is going to come out, and I forget what the kind of speech is called, the big popey speechy things. I can't remember. Well, anyways,
Latiny McLatin.
He definitely what they're speculating is that he's going to come out real soon, for the Catholics need to act on the climate change issue.
Oh,
undeniably putting a papal position on climate change,
a call to action,
that it is real. And that those that deny it have their own agenda, so forth and so on. What this is all leading up to is the fact that he, in September, is scheduled to speak at the UN General Assembly, where they are expecting him to go seriously on record in front of the entire United Nations organization, and call for action.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
very interesting.
I'd be all for that. Now, mind you, we've heard lots of speculation about this Pope, and a lot of it doesn't quite come to fruition. But I mean, I could see it with this Pope. I could see it happening. And if it does happen,
church and it's called an encyclical.
Oh, okay.
Right. Is the church document that he's going to be releasing.
And it's called that because he talks in circles.
Hopefully on this issue he will not.
Right. Well, I mean, it would be amazing. You've got there are a lot of there are still plenty of major majority Catholic countries in the world that it'd be interesting to see their response. Now, generally speaking, people who are majority Catholic countries tend to legislate Catholic until it's inconvenient,
right?
And then they don't.
Well, this I'm so sorry that I was drawing a blank. I think this is a different article than the one that I actually read.
Oh, okay.
And all this all the computer issues I was having earlier. I think I ended up pulling up the wrong page.
Oh,
but so this is actually he's going to be visiting Tacloban in the Philippines. Right, Tacloban, the city of Tacloban.
Okay.
That was damaged by a hurricane. I believe it was last year sometime.
Okay, sure.
And so he's going to be going in, and that is going to immediately precede the release of this document. And this will go to roughly 5,000 bishops and 400,000 priests throughout the world.
Wow.
Stating clearly the church's position
on
climate change.
Okay.
And the need for action.
Okay.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, already though, conservative religious types in this country have started to position themselves against the Pope, and they are just outraged that he would have been fooled by the false science of climate change.
Oh my God, it's so fun. What? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens here, because the what I've noticed as a pattern with this Pope is, and so far we haven't actually heard from the Pope on this. We've just heard rumors and speculations.
Right.
But the pattern with this Pope is generally he'll just blurt something out.
Right.
I mean, something that he's been thinking about for a while, but he'll just blurt it out, And then everybody will be like, what the fuck? And just freak out at him. And he'll be like, oh, I mean, maybe not. But mostly, but maybe not. I don't know. I mean.
Yeah, I know. And this is clearly based on statements like, this is from Francis, if we destroy creation, creation will destroy us.
That's true.
So people start to go, oh. And and he's spoken out. He's made. I believe he made some call against like fossil fuels at one point or something like that. Didn't he have something like that? He had some. He sort of denounced.
I don't know about that.
something.
I don't remember anything about climate change or anything.
I think there seems to be something else, but anyway.
Anyway, so I'm going to take us in a slightly more depressing. I've had a couple of depressing ones here.
Yeah, Dan.
Well, but that's okay.
This is the new year, and you need to like
fuck that. This is news.
Keep it in an upbeat tone. You're setting the tone. You're setting the stage for the rest of the year, Dan.
No, I had
I
had to ditch a few of these earlier because I was being nice for Christmas. So now I don't. Now it's no more Mr. Nice Guy. Is what's going on.
You actually accommodated Christmas.
It's the reason
I'm a
for
little
the season.
disappointed at the moment, Dan.
I was celebrating our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Anyway, so this takes place in Kenya, where some Somali Islamists, part of a group known as Al-Shabaab. Have you heard of them?
I thought that was a guy, Al-Shabaab.
Nope, it's a militant group.
Does he have a little restaurant down?
Yes, it's delicious. That's a great joke, Frank. That is a classic
Al-Shabaabs.
Joke.
Al-Shabaabs, right?
I think that's actually the food item is an Al-Shabaab.
No, it should be Al-Shabaab.
Anyway, we're gonna move on. So these guys they've been around for a while. They were called other things. Their original incarnation was probably founded by one Mr. Osama bin Laden. I don't know if you've heard of that guy.
Really? Okay.
Anyway, these are Somalis, and they're pretty hardcore. They recently, about a month ago, they attacked a bus in Kenya. They keep doing incursions into Kenya.
Okay.
And they went on this bus and shot 28 people dead.
Oh, I remember. I heard something about this.
They didn't shoot everybody on the bus, though.
Right.
They went through, and if you could recite a Quranic verse,
yeah,
they kept you alive.
Okay.
So I mean, so basically they went. It's interesting when it becomes that, because a lot of times with these Islamist groups, they just blow something up. They clearly targeted a bus that they knew would have a lot of non-Muslim people on it,
right?
And then wanted to not kill the Muslims. I thought that was
that's ridiculously fucked up.
A unique point of attack.
Well, I mean, they're not supposed to kill Muslims.
I'm mildly convinced they're not supposed to kill anybody.
No, but no. They can kill whoever they want as long as they're not Muslim.
Apparently.
You can kill the infidels, right?
Yeah.
So they're just doing what they do.
No, they're supposed to allow for people of the book, as you know.
And were these people of the book? What were they? Were they?
I don't know. There wasn't much released about the victims, but yeah, apparently it would be good to if you're traveling
as long as they also spared Christians and Jews, they're fine.
Yeah, what's the likelihood of that? No, they that just scares me a lot that they're going. I mean, it's holy war that's happening.
Yeah,
and these guys,
and they take it seriously.
They're not messing around.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
It's not.
It's funny how when you involve God and what you think God wants you to do, how that makes people do horrible, bad things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame God. I don't blame religion for the horrible, bad things that religious people do. But I will say that it makes people who there are a lot of people in this world who wouldn't do some of the awful things that they do without having been convinced through through religion.
Right.
Religion ends up being the context wherein they can justify in their mind the committing of horrible atrocities.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. All right. There's gay people. And
Where?
Then there's like Christians, and sometimes some of the Christians are gay.
Oh, I don't think that happens. I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen.
Well, apparently, there is a thing called the Gay Christian Network,
Okay.
and they hold a conference every year.
Oh.
This year it's going to be in Portland, Oregon.
Oh.
So you get all the gay Christians together at the table, as the website says, and you get... I don't know what you get exactly, but I've been looking through the pictures of the event. I've been looking around on the pages, and this just looks like a regular old convention/conferencey thing.
Huh.
They have workshops, wonderful workshops, with...
do they teach you how to Christian better or how to gay better? What are the workshops?
Well, let me tell you. This one is presented by Jennifer Croft.
Okay.
Or Crow. The problem with the GH in the English language could be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Time to be unconditional is the name of her.
Oh.
So, we must take Jesus' command seriously, it says, including the command to love one another. In this workshop, Jennifer Croft, a side B mom of a side A gay son. Okay, now... Here's some terminology for you.
Yeah, I don't know
was
what that
unfamiliar with side A and side B. So if you are a side A Christian,
Okay.
It means that you believe that homosexual activity is not a sin.
Oh, okay.
If you are a side B Christian, it means that you love the sinner, but you hate the sin.
Right.
Right. So
that God rejects homosexuality, but
still loves the homosexual.
Right.
Just won't let the homosexual be homosexual.
Yeah. The B inside B is for bullshit.
Yeah, but you got the side B and side A.
Yeah.
Side B mom, side A gay son.
Oh, okay.
And so she's going to talk about loving unconditionally.
Oh,
so good, so good. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of unconditional love in that room. And then we have For Straight Dads of Gay Kids. This is presented by Robert Cottrell, and he's going to talk about that topic.
Okay.
Watch your language. And this is gay or homosexual. What about queer? Good or bad? That's what it says. I just read that. The language of sexuality and gender is a minefield. How can we honor the language needs of others without becoming hamstrung by words that we can't communicate?
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, how can I love a side B workshop? LGBT conversations in your church or organization. That's being presented by James Farlow.
They should call this. They should I'm going to propose to them. I'm going to write in. And I'm going to propose to them a change to the title of their convention.
Okay. What's the title?
Their convention should be called Preaching to the Gay Choir, because nobody else is listening.
I thought this is something we should have signed up for.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it starts in just a couple days. And this one is wonderful. This is For Better Than Worse. And it is presented by David and Colin Evans Carlson. And they invite you to come learn and explore some practical ways to make your married/partnered relationship more of the better and less of the worse.
That's just a marriage workshop.
It is, yeah,
for gay folk.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you, I have some. I mean, as you know, Franklin, I have a lot of gay friends, and some of them like to go to conventions. I think this will be the least interesting of all of the gay conventions in the country.
Well, What I want to, there has to be some underground action. The
Oh,
side airs,
no.
the side airs at this thing.
Oh,
There's
some
there's
hooking
fun.
up.
Yeah.
There is some hooking up
Oh,
happening out there.
Yeah.
But maybe not quite at the level of like
some side A.
you know, the
side B.
it's gonna become gay slang. It's gonna be like it's gonna be like, are you a pitcher or a catcher?
Side A or side B?
You can do me in my side B if you want to. I'm strictly side A. I'm sorry. Side B is closed for business.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, here's someone who kind of looks like you, Dan.
Oh well, a handsome devil must be.
Not entirely like you, but kinda.
Okay.
He has the hat and the well, he used to be glasses and a little beard.
Okay. There you go.
And he looks stylish. His eyebrows are bushier than yours.
Oh,
but
I'm gayer than he is.
I anticipate that your eyebrows will be this bushy in 10 years, probably.
My eyebrows are already bushy if I let them be, but I don't because I trim them, which makes me gayer than that guy.
Oh no! Well, nobody's claiming that he's gay.
He's gay. Anyone who looks like me is gay. That we all know that. Come on. Anyway, so I'm gonna move us on to Slovenia or Slovenia.
Oh no!
Are you afraid? Do you have fear
of the latter, not the former?
Oh, okay.
Slovenia, I don't have any problem with, but Slovenia
is terrifying. Yeah. Do you want to take a guess at what might be what has become apparently the 5th largest religion in Slovenia?
You want me to guess what it is?
You won't be able to, but if you want to.
I have no clue.
Yeah. It is the Trans-Universal Zombie Church of the Blissful Ringing.
Oh. I
don't know how
it came to mind, but I thought it was just too ridiculous.
Too on the nose.
Too on the nose.
It was a little too on the nose for Slovenia. Of course, it's the Trans-Universal Zombie Church of the Blissful Ringing. This was sent in to us by Cora Horror, our listener.
Oh yeah.
So it's actually fascinating what has happened here. Apparently, there has been just an outbreak of corruption in Slovenia. There's been so not only are their politicians corrupt, but also their church leaders so corrupt that Pope Francis recently fired their 2 top Catholic leaders after about $1 billion went missing.
I beg your pardon.
800 million euro seem to have lined some pockets. So
I'm shocked.
Yeah. It's
okay.
It's
All
a
right.
country of like maybe 200 million or 2 million people in the whole country.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of money for
that's
a
what I'm
tiny
saying.
country.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Surprised their budget would have been anywhere near that.
So anyway, there's a lot of corruption, and the response to this corruption has been a group of essentially intellectuals who decided, well, fuck that. We're doing our own religion, and we're going to just take care of people. And so what they've done is they've created this zombie church, and the zombie thing's interesting because it comes from. They're not just sort of pulling that out of thin air.
They're not fans of The Walking Dead or
no. Apparently, the former premier of the country, Janez Jansa, I don't know how to pronounce it. He's jailed currently, I think, for corruption. But when people started calling for demanding his resignation, he dismissed them as zombies.
Oh no!
And the protesters adopted it and just sort of wore it as a badge of honor, and were like, "Yeah, we're the zombies, and we're coming for you."
Oh my!
And so now they've got this adorable little religion that is essentially it's Slovenian Pastafarianism. It's It's this idea of like their quote holy book. They have like they bang pots, pans, and cowbells as part of their thing, and they this is all protesting the corruption, right? So this is What they're going to keep. We're going to ring our bells until they are rung away. Until they being the
okay.
the corrupt
I thought the bells.
bad guys.
I know,
Yeah,
it's
not
confusing.
the bells. It's to me seems like an amazing thing. They've already got over 10,000 adherents.
And that makes them the 5th largest?
I told you it's a small country. But I think that's amazing. I think that it's great. They have holy drinks, which are beer and pina coladas.
But somehow, don't they embrace the zombie thing more?
They should. They should. There's no evidence that they're actually embracing that they're like doing zombie type. They should be covering themselves in like gore makeup.
Yeah,
and like
and their drinks.
Yeah,
I can come up with better drinks than that.
But they've got a book. Apparently, they've written a holy book.
Well, they're having fun.
They worship cows.
It's very
apparently
creative. It's creative.
They advise against taking out loans that can't be repaid.
That's smart.
That's good.
That's good advice.
They advocate free contraception, and they collect food, clothes, and money for the needy.
Well, sounds like they're doing good work.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, any of our Eastern European listeners
who might be in Slovenia,
go ahead and sign up. We approve, based on this one article.
Well, if you approve or disapprove of any of this or anything else that you've heard today, you of course can chime in.
Sure,
we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely, you can reach us by writing to our email address. That's podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Right. Or go ahead and go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, where many good things will come to you from Mackenzie.
Yeah, there's also the TGIA Members Only Lounge.
Which I just am pleased.
Search for that.
I'm still happy
on Facebook
as I can be about it. Again, I'm going to remind people because this keeps happening. If you try to get into the members only lounge, I have to approve you, and what I have to do is go onto your profile.
Yeah,
and if I can't see anything, I can't let you on. So I may send you a message that says, "Hey, I don't know what's going on with you. You might be," because there are fake people out there that are trying to just market to you or whatever, and I'm not going to let them in. Yeah. So try and let me see some stuff.
Yeah, and if you have a Android device,
Ooh.
go find us on the Joyride app.
Yeah, download that app.
It's a way to listen to us. It's also a way to donate.
You can listen to all of your podcasts through that.
Yeah,
and then you can
then donate to us.
Be a part of something. All right.
And if you are not on Android, you can just go to getjoyride.com and find us there.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. Who is this?
Oh, it's some dude.
I don't know who this is, Dan. You sent me something.
Yeah, it's some dude talking to
Joel Rosenberg.
I think he's talking
tells
to
Pat Robertson
yeah.
something.
When Hitler took over, he took over the church. As you know, the Reich Church they banned the Bible, they banned the cross, they banned the preaching of the gospel. They put the pastors in prison. Dietrich Bonhoeffer went to a concentration camp, was hanged. He had to create an underground seminary to keep the gospel alive, to keep the word of God being preached. But a lot of Protestants either opted for the Reich Church or thought, well, you can't buck the system. And yet men were heroic in the fact that they did. And the question raises for us today, just as an example, 55 million children have been murdered by abortion in our country. We're getting close to 60 million in the next year or two. That would be, if we get to 60 million, we will have killed 10 times more Americans than the Nazis killed of the Jews. Now, we know the judgment that came on Nazi Germany, and we feel like it was, correct. It was just. What do we think is going to happen?
I'm confused. What was the judgment that came to Nazi Germany?
No, I'm terrified. The horrible, evil leaders were overthrown, and the country was liberated, and
then rebuilt,
into something pretty awesome and amazing.
Into one of the world's largest economies,
with an incredibly high standard of living.
gosh. The judgment. Fear the judgment, everybody. I love how he just sort of, well, obviously we all know that the Nazis, they banned the church and blah, blah, blah. On what planet did the Nazis ban the church? The Nazis did create the Reich Church, which is like sort of, they wanted a unified church.
Right.
And they talked about getting rid of the Catholics, but then they created a treaty with the Catholics, and there was a whole fucking...
And then this
bunch
dude
of
that
nonsense.
he's talking about, right? Wasn't there
the
funky about...
the dude that he was talking about was like, I mean, yes, he was a preacher, and yes, he did get thrown into a concentration camp. So that sounds pretty damning until you realize that he was like wildly anti-Nazi and like was fighting against Nazism. And yeah, you're going to get thrown into jail and then a concentration camp if you're found guilty of
being anti-Nazi when it was the Nazis who were in charge.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be anti-Nazi when the Nazis are in charge. So that's how they work. It's kind of their MO.
Oh, the Nazis. Gosh.
All right. Well, we did have some people contact us.
Yeah. Should we start with a voicemail?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Well, here is a listener who had an experience with Mormons and swearing. We talked about that on the show, and he called in to talk about it.
Hey, this is Brian. I just wanted to add my voice to the notion that y'all were talking about how Mormons are scared to death of swearing. I lived with a Mormon family one time. I grew up Mormon, but then after I left the church, I lived with a Mormon friend of a friend for a while, and I was playing a video game, and basically the word fuck came out of my lips a little loud, and the mother of the friend that I was living with happened to be in the next room over, and she immediately burst into tears. I'm talking full-on body-racking sobs because she heard the word fuck, and it blew my mind. So, thanks for the show. Love you guys.
Well, fuck is a very, very bad word.
Why did you say that word, Frank? It's a naughty word. I think it's so funny. I don't think Americans in general understand what swearing actually is. Like, because the origin of the word swearing, what we're talking about when you say the word swear, is that it was a religious thing. You were swearing an oath to a saint or to a religious being. And that was like the strongest language you could do. And now, by Saint Anne, I'll kill you, or something. And that was swearing, and it was frowned upon unless you were unless you were.
It was like taking the Lord's name in vain.
Right.
You were taking the saint's name in vain.
And what's funny is that our profanities have now become they're not religious anymore. They're body related. They're all like, poop and sex stuff.
Right.
So it's so mild. But boy, Mormons, they can't handle it.
It's just awful.
They're not okay.
Oh my God,
they're not okay. So, and also, Mormons are a weepy people.
Yeah.
They will cry at any provocation. If it's a good thing, they cry. If it's a bad thing, they cry. If it's a man, he won't cry ever in his life until he's in Mormon church and talking about the church, and then he starts blubbering.
Yeah.
They're just weepy, cryy people.
They're a mess. They're just a wreck.
They're a mess.
They don't have they're just out of control.
They don't have anyone around them going, pull yourself together. What the hell's going on?
Well, it's somehow become encouraged.
I think there's a cachet to it.
Yeah.
I do.
You have to get up and cry at the pulpit.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you don't feel it. It's not real. Hunter wrote into us to say, hey, guys, it's Hunter from Chicago. The 16-year-old kid who got banned from using mail. Do you remember him? He wrote in maybe 6 months ago or something like that. Yeah. He says, while I'm still on lockdown, I thought I'd leave a donation for you guys and ask a question that I've had on my mind. While my coming out as atheist went off mostly no complications, I've noticed that my family seems to always forget that I'm an atheist. They always seem to act like I'm still a good old Catholic boy, to the point where they like to force me to go to church and stuff. I just kind of wanted to know if this is going to be a new thing, or if they will eventually get off my case. Thanks for being great, and look forward to some more donations from me. Well, thanks for that.
Yeah.
First of all, Hunter. Here's the deal. Families are weird.
Yeah.
And while you're young, they're just going to sort of walk all over you for a bit.
Yeah.
While you're, before you turn 18, before you become sort of an independent adult person, yeah, that's going to be how it is.
And it may even continue for a little while, because
Right.
the one great thing about parents is that they have a hard time seeing you as an adult.
Yeah, it
takes a while.
A while.
But yeah, the convenient forgetting thing, they're not forgetting anything.
No,
Nothing
but
at all.
But if they force you to go to church, they're pretty sure that eventually you'll come out of this atheist phase,
Well,
and you'll
they
be
don't
fine.
fully believe it.
No.
How could Hunter possibly be an atheist? He
Right.
believes in God.
Oh,
Deep down,
he's
he
just
believes in
rebelling.
God.
It's just teenage rebellion.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll come back. Anyway, what I would say is that there is danger in rocking the boat too much when
That
you're
is
living
true.
with them.
Sounds like it's gone pretty well for you so
sounds
far.
like everything's okay. I'd probably fly under the radar for a bit, and then after you've moved out, when you start to come back, if they start to ask you things like, "Hey, are you coming with us to mass?" You can just be like, "No." Let me remind you, I don't believe in that anymore.
Yeah.
But as for right now, I mean,
It would be helpful if you started wearing all black and
oh yeah,
and just started like
put on some emo makeup and stuff.
yeah.
Paint your fingernails black.
That'll
too.
remind them.
That will not help. That will make it worse. Then the phase thing, that just confirms the phase thing. Anyway, well, good luck to you.
Yeah,
Like we know what's going to happen in your family.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Do we have another voicemail?
We do. This is someone responding to the holiday survival tips that we gave.
Hi, fellas. This is Elsie in Oberlin, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents about surviving the holidays as an atheist. I used to have a hard time because it felt like everything was Jesus all the way, all the time, and it was overwhelming. And now I just celebrate everything. It's been really great, and my criteria is who is the most fun, what party is going to be the coolest, and what looks like a good time. So far this year, I have been to a fantastic community sing-along that featured artesian pottery and, just awesome musicians. I've gone to a Yuletide Wiccan ritual that met up really amazing people. They were a blast, and I could go on and on. But for any atheists out there trying to navigate the holidays, basically, just find the parties you want to go to. And since it doesn't really matter how it goes and what you celebrate, you celebrate, anything you want, the religious significance doesn't really matter. So basically, just treat it like a huge party celebration. Find experiences you want to have. Find people you want to hang with. And that's been working for us. So keep up the great work with the new show. Hope 2015 is filled with success and happiness for you. Take care. Bye.
Well, thanks, Elsie.
Yeah.
That's brilliant advice. That's exactly it.
Yeah. Yes.
You
the
get one
hedonist
shot
approach.
at
Just find the fun
this
one.
stupid life. Go out there and fucking enjoy yourself. And who cares? Like, yeah, if everybody's singing about Jesus, sing about Jesus.
Yeah,
if it gets boring, leave.
Go to the Wiccans.
Find somebody else. What are the Jews doing? Anybody? Let's just find something fun.
Oh, these Christians have gotten so boring.
Right.
And the Christian thing, more times than not, is probably going to be boring.
It's probably going to be boring.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
singing carols can be fun or whatever. And
yeah.
there's a lot of nog to be drunk. Out in the world.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
So good. Go do that. Yeah, find the fun stuff. That's good advice. Hi, Frank and Dan. This is from Dawn. He says, catching up on episode 161. So this might be too late to discuss, but here goes. He's talking about we talked about Gnostic atheism versus agnostic atheism. These words like agnostic and atheist and how they get together. He says, Gnostic atheist, there is no God or gods. And he says, God was man-made because it was the best way to explain things unknown. God is from a time when not understanding science was greater than understanding. There is no reason to continue to use God as an explanation for anything in the age of science. God is unneeded. Science has been able to describe the Big Bang within a fraction of a second of the theoretical beginning of time. Why wouldn't we suddenly become agnostic? Why would we suddenly become agnostic and invoke the God of the gaps, holding out the possibility for a God influence? Our life is surrounded with applied science. It makes no sense to rely on supernatural answers when humans have not yet discovered every answer. He goes on a little bit, but I mean, I think I get where he's coming from on this.
Yeah.
And of course, like, it's not like you and I, Frank, are filling in any science gaps with God.
Oh, dear God, no.
But the deal is, at some point, the question of Gnosticism versus agnosticism is about, can we know for sure if there's a God or not?
Right.
We can be pretty fucking convinced that there's no God or gods.
Right.
It makes way more sense that there would be no divine beings guiding all of this. At least nothing like what has been described by anybody as a god.
Right.
And yet, I still have to say that I'm with Dawkins. I'm with the people who say, yeah, I'm basically 100% convinced that there's no gods, but I have to allow that tiny sliver because I can't know for sure that there isn't.
Right.
And that sliver is meaningless to me. That sliver doesn't change anything about how I feel about anything.
There's nothing mystical attached to that sliver.
Right.
You're not looking to that sliver for an explanation about anything.
Right.
All you're doing is you're leaving that you're being honest with yourself about what's provable and what's not provable.
And in the same way that I have to
prove a negative.
Right. And I leave the same tiny sliver for an infinite number of possibilities in this universe that are wildly unlikely.
Right.
And that I don't believe in at all, that I have no belief in, but I have a belief in my inability to know everything. Sure. And so I have to just leave this.
Well, that's good that you acknowledge that you can't know everything.
Right. Well, 18-year-old me might have disagreed.
Why do I not find that difficult to believe?
Because you're a know-it-all as well.
Excuse me?
And you're the same as I am. I'm sure 18-year-old Frank was pretty convinced of his positions.
Dan, how dare you? How dare you, Dan?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Just for that, I'm going on to the next voicemail.
Okay.
Hey, Frank and Dan. First of all, I want to say that I love the podcast. Oh, sorry, this is Megan from Arlington, Virginia. First of all, I'm wondering if the 666 part of your number is intentional. Probably not, but I thought that would be really funny if it were. And second of all, I am hearing the jingle, and I'm going to answer your jingle call. Instead of donating to the assholes at Salvation Army, I am going to donate to you. So happy holidays. I wish you the best, and have a happy new year.
Well, thank you.
You did it just right.
Yeah.
When you hear the bell ringers from the Salvation Army, your impulse should be Pavlovian to donate to us. Anyway, by the way, the 666. Of course we chose that on purpose.
The area code in Utah is 801.
But we don't have a Utah area code.
It's a Beverly Hills.
Right, because we looked we scoured the country for the number 666 TGIA.
Yeah.
That's our number.
Yeah.
We had to find wherever we could to get that prefix.
Where there was a prefix 666 that was available, which of course almost everywhere has the 666. Widely available. Not a lot of claiming of the 666.
People aren't snatching that up. Yeah,
but TGIA we had to look for.
So we had to come up with something fun.
Yeah,
we're not just gonna
and memorable.
We're not just gonna take whatever phone number happens to be available.
And we have a Beverly Hills number.
Oh, we're very fancy, everyone. Send all of the gifts that you want to send us to 90210.
Ooh. We should have a P.O. box in Beverly Hills.
We should. That would be terrible. Actually, I have somebody who lives near there that could theoretically go and pick it up. But why would I do that?
That would be ridiculous.
We have some donors to thank.
Thank you, donors.
First of all, we've got some donors through Joyride, but Joyride is still working out some kinks, and we're not able to thank you just yet. So we don't know your names.
I wouldn't say that they're working out kinks. It's more that I forgot the password. And I wasn't going to
throw you under the bus. I was more willing to throw Joyride to throw a
I have to get in
startup.
touch with them this afternoon to retrieve my password.
Anyway, so please hold, all of you beautiful Joyride listeners. But
there is something that somebody on Joyride has signed up for, and I would like to just put a plug in for this. Because there's different rewards there, and people don't. You may not go unless there's. You know
that there's some reward.
Yeah. One of the rewards, and we're doing this, and there's only one supporter at this level at the moment, is we're gonna have a conference call with us. So right now it's gonna be just a 3-way call with this one listener, which, hey, we're gonna do it. We'll chat. We'll do the whole thing, but that's hopefully that fun thing. This is going to be a monthly thing that we're doing, where if you're a donor at that level, it's $15 a month.
That's a $15 a month
which
level.
We understand is pricey, but hey, you get something extra for it.
That's right.
So that's out there.
All right.
Go check out the other rewards too.
Yep. So of the donors that I can currently thank, Karen gave us a one-time donation. Thank you very much. Hunter, as we now know, gave us a one-time donation. That was very sweet of you. Harold donated to us. He says, "Love you guys. I'm an RLDS, in parentheses, the one true church.
Oh, yeah.
Apostate.
Yeah.
He says, Mother Emma Hale Smith's church. Polygamy? Never heard of it. We've talked about that one a little bit. Now they're called the Community of Christ.
Yeah.
It's the formerly the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or RLDS.
Which, ironically, was the original one.
Yeah, I mean, they claim to be the correct lineage from Joseph Smith and stuff. So that is a little ironic that they were like, we reorganized.
Well, maybe they reorganized the original thing. That's what they
right. Yeah. I'm sure that that's what they say.
And the other name had gotten taken by Brigham Young.
Yeah.
He owned the copyright at that point.
Yeah, exactly. David gave us both a one-time donation and has become a monthly subscriber. And he says, thank you for the time and effort that you're putting into this podcast. If I could pawn the Vatican, to make podcasts like this a well-paid full-time job. If I could, I'd pawn the Vatican to make podcasts like this a well-paid full-time job, but I can't, so here's what I can give to catch up on my tithing. Cheers and keep them coming. So thanks, David.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. And if you, dear listener, want to join the ranks of the best people on the earth, you can do so by going to thankgodimatheist.com and clicking on the support tab.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Joyride, which is getjoyride.com, or get the app on your phone.
Yeah.
And donate there.
All right. Well, Daniel,
it's a new year.
It is a new year.
2015.
2015.
It seems like just yesterday it was 1015.
Just 1,000 years ago. How time flies.
How it does fly. I've always found the concept of making resolutions to be. It always seems like a good idea for everybody but me. I'm like, oh, that's great that you guys are doing that.
Everybody else improve.
And I'm just like, meh.
But not me.
I'm not going to do it.
Not you. You don't have to improve.
Maybe it's just that I have so much to improve that I just need a year-round continual sort of.
It's daunting. You don't even know where to start.
Right. If I made
You're overwhelmed.
If I made a single list on a single day, I would just be like, whoa, I'm never going to be okay as a human being. I'm never going to be okay.
Dan, I'm worried about you.
But here we are. We're at the dawn of this new year. a big one for both of us.
Shut up.
We're both turning 23 this year.
Oh, it's going to be so hard.
Finally, we can rent cars or whatever you can do at 23.
I don't think 23 gets you anything. I think it's 25
Okay.
where you got to get your renting cars.
Anyway, so I think it's a good time for you and I, Frank, to reflect on how we've done as atheists and to look forward into the future and just ask ourselves, what do we want this next year to look like? How can we make it a better one than 2014, which was a great year for me?
Yeah.
Was it a good year for you?
It was a pretty good year for me. I think it ended well. 2015 has begun well. I know we're only on day, 2?
Uh-huh.
So far, it's a good year.
Yeah.
About 50% of it so far has been terribly hungover, though.
It's a very hungover year.
It's been way too hungover. So I do want that to change about this year.
Okay, that's a good goal.
I want that number to keep going down.
And I'm guessing it shall. You're not that much of a lush. I wanted to talk specifically here about how you and I and how our listeners can be better atheists. And that's not like how to atheist well. Well, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I mean, we're not going to tell you like what you need to believe or anything like that.
No. You clearly how you've become an atheist is your own thing.
That's you.
And how you've sorted all that out. That's fine.
But what we can talk about is things like, and here's one of my thoughts. I want to donate more to secular charities.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like that for me is something that I don't have that many donation dollars in my budget.
Right.
But I want to free up a few more, and I want to do some good research into some great places where that can go.
Where your money can go do some good.
Right.
In the world that's not Christian-y.
Right. Exactly. Now the foundation that Hemant Mehta has set up is a great starting point.
Yeah.
They do really good work tracking down other good secular charities. So that's where I'm going to start, and I'm going to move on from there. But that's one of my resolutions.
Yeah. Okay.
How about you?
Well, I have realized that. This is gonna be a weird one because, but I don't know a lot of Christians.
Oh,
I don't.
Yeah, you've kind of wheedled them out.
Yeah, you always talk about having friends who are believers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have friends who are believers.
Yeah,
I don't. So the idea is I'm going to befriend a Christian.
Sure. You see, you have this wonderfully sort of mildly horrified look on your face.
You're trying to be. These words are coming out of.
You're trying to be brave. I can see it. I think it's great. I think,
and I'm not going to put an ad on Craigslist or anything to find this new Christian friend. But if the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
If I meet a Christian, which I don't do often,
I love it. Bridge building.
I don't know. Does it need to be a Christian per se?
Not necessarily.
Because there's some really woo-woo people at work that I'm so dismissive of. But they're not. I don't think they're Christian.
Okay. What I love about this idea isn't, the Christianity of it, but it's the concept of opening yourself to people.
Right.
And I think we as atheists, there's a lot of us that, in part for good reason. People are assholes to atheists sometimes.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that everybody from that church is going to be an asshole to me. It doesn't mean that everybody's going to. And so, just opening your mind to welcoming in people of faith, people of beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm totally dismissive of a lot of woo-woo people.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't make them bad people. They're dumb beliefs. And
I'd
plus,
like to believe they're bad people.
now,
though.
what I want to caution people against is like the idea of being a dick atheist that like befriends only to have, like, the only conversations we're going to have are going to be me trying to talk you out of your stupid, dumb beliefs.
Right.
That's not going to be helpful. That's not real friendship. That's not what a friendship looks like. You can have those discussions sometimes.
Right.
You can Bogosian them every now and then. But even Bogosian's very careful to say all it is a discussion. It's not, it's maybe you follow a sort of an Aristotelian line and you try to like get them thinking along some slightly different lines, but it's not about convincing someone else.
Right.
It's about having a conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what I'm interested in.
Okay. That's fine too.
No, I mean clearly I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
No, the idea is it's taking people as they are, accepting people for who they are, rather than just own like this thing that I do have a strong tendency of this, of just wanting to surround myself by very like-minded people,
right?
Because it removes the discomfort and the perceived discomfort of having like different opinions in the room,
right?
I think that's a problem.
It's a very human response to life,
yeah,
but it is a problem, and it's why the emergence of like partisan news channels or any of that, it's bad for us as a country. It's bad for us as people, as individuals. But of course we're going to migrate toward those who already agree with us. Of course we're going to migrate towards those who aren't going to challenge us, because being challenged is uncomfortable. But you know what, open yourself to it. I think that's fantastic.
I have another one.
Oh, okay, go.
This one's actually already started. I just kind of want to renew it and express it and talk about it. But it's just reading more.
Okay.
Like I think it's so critical, and it's so hard to like carve out the time to just sit down and have a book on a topic that interests you, and it's just it's nice. I've been doing more of it lately. I want to keep that as something that I'm doing, and as tying that to atheism and just being an atheist. I think there's a lot of responsibility on atheists to keep our minds, moving forward, and to because like we've arrived at this conclusion about life, because of the information that we had available about the world that we live in. Well,
right.
Continuing that and always exploring new topics and areas of study, I think it's great. I need more of it in my life.
You could also turn it around and say, you're not just, if you want to read some interesting stuff, try reading somebody's holy book.
Oh, that's not going to be my resolution.
Well, you don't have to do that, Frank. I'm just throwing
Are you going to do that one?
I do have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita that might be interesting. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I need to learn to read first, so that makes it more tricky.
Just being literacy might be the first.
Seems like step one. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to really feel educated on that.
Have to download a podcast about it first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, what I've been doing is the audiobook thing. I have plenty of time to listen. More so than I do to actually sit down and crack a book. Because I can be in the car, I can do whatever. So
yeah, I just find that the way that I drive.
Oh, you're a maniac.
No. I mean, nothing's that far away.
Right.
I mean, it's hard enough to listen to the podcasts of the shows that I like.
Right.
Because it comes in 5 to 10 minute snippets.
Sure.
But anyways.
But whatever works for you, dear listener, I think that reading, actually, that's great, Frank. I'm all for reading.
Yeah.
Reading's always great.
Yeah.
I wanted to also open up the idea of meeting. One of my resolutions is to engage the atheist community a little bit more strongly.
Okay.
You and I, Frank, have not been wildly active amongst there are plenty of gay. Wow, I don't know where that came from. Plenty of
Freudian slip, man.
I guess so. Plenty of atheist groups in our area.
Uh-huh.
And we don't go to the meetups. We don't go to the coffees.
No.
We don't do any of that stuff.
Dear God, no.
And and in part it's fair because we have a lot of friends who are atheists, and we don't need a support group.
Again, I'm being silly, but no, you're totally right. That's been part of my, like, I haven't had to find an atheist community. I already have one.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
But you know what? These groups do more than just meet. They also do like cool charity things. Like they do food drives and stuff. They do good things. They do fun things. And who couldn't use a friend or two more?
Yeah.
So I think engaging with our community is a good idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's one I want to throw out there.
All right. Cool. Fantastic.
If you have some good ideas for some resolutions that you think
what are your resolutions?
think we should throw out into the mix, please send them in to us or call them into us. The number or the email address I'll start with is podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
And the voicemail is 424-666-8442.
Yeah. Go on to the Facebook page. You can start a discussion there if you want to. That's facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And of course, on Facebook as well, there is the TGIA Members Only Lounge. Search for it. You'll find it. Request a membership.
And we'll let you in.
Yeah.
Fun conversations.
We'll let you in, dear listener.
But not your friends.
Not your friends.
The rabble has to stay out. Thank you to Mackenzie for running our Facebook page.
Absolutely. And thanks so much to the Red Rock Hot Club for letting us use their music.
Yeah, and thank you, dear listener, for joining us once again this week for our show. We really do appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.